Imagine you're writing code. You type just a few words. And before you've even finished your thought, AI completes the rest. Not just the next word. Sometimes an entire function. It feels almost impossible. Almost like it already knew what you were about to type. But did it? Every day, millions of developers use AI coding assistants like GitHub Copilot and Cursor. They save time, reduce repetitive work, and often feel almost magical. But behind every suggestion lies one fascinating question. How does AI know what you're about to write? Is it searching the internet? Has it memorized every GitHub repository? Or is something much more interesting happening behind the scenes? Let's investigate. At first, all of these explanations seem believable. Maybe it's searching for similar code online. Maybe it's simply remembering code it's seen before. Some people even think it's reading your entire computer. But none of these tell the complete story. To understand what's really happening, we need to follow something almost invisible. Instead of following an entire project, let's follow just one keystroke. From the exact moment you press a key, until an AI suggestion appears on your screen. That journey usually takes only a few hundred milliseconds. Faster than the blink of an eye, but inside those few moments, an incredible amount of engineering is taking place. Our keystroke has reached the GitHub Copilot extension. This is the moment where most people imagine the AI instantly starts writing code. But that's not what happens. In fact, the AI still doesn't know enough to generate a useful suggestion. Before it can write even a single line, it first needs to understand what you're trying to build. The first thing GitHub Copilot does is collect context. Think of it like a detective arriving at a crime scene. One clue isn't enough. But when every clue is combined, the picture becomes much clearer. So before asking the AI for help, Copilot gathers information from your editor, your current file, nearby code, comments, imports, function names, variable names, and most importantly, the exact position of your cursor. Individually, these pieces don't mean much. Together, they tell the story of what you're trying to build. Once enough context has been collected, GitHub Copilot organizes everything into a structured request. You can think of it as preparing a detailed briefing for the AI. Instead of sending only the line you just typed, it sends the surrounding information that gives those words meaning. Because without context, even the smartest AI would simply be guessing. Here's something many people don't realize. The AI isn't running inside Visual Studio Code. Your editor simply prepares the request, then securely sends it to GitHub Copilot's cloud service. That's where the real intelligence lives. The service selects an appropriate AI model, forwards your request, and waits for a prediction. All of this usually happens in just a few hundred milliseconds. Now comes the part that feels like magic. The AI doesn't search the internet for the correct answer, and it doesn't pull an entire function from memory. Instead, it predicts what is most likely to come next. Imagine you're reading a mystery novel. Halfway through the story, you can often guess what the next chapter might be. Not because you've read the book before, but because you've recognized the patterns. AI does something very similar with code. It looks at everything you've given it, considers many possible continuations, and chooses the one that best fits the context. It doesn't generate the entire function all at once. Instead, it builds the suggestion step by step. Each new piece is based on everything that came before it. In just a fraction of a second, hundreds of tiny predictions become one complete suggestion. The completed suggestion now makes the return journey. From the cloud, back to your editor, waiting quietly in gray, until you decide what happens next. Press Tab, and it becomes part of your code. Ignore it, and nothing changes. That's an important detail. AI can make suggestions, but the final decision always belongs to the developer. If AI can write an entire function in seconds, why does it still make mistakes? Why does it sometimes suggest code that doesn't compile, recommend the wrong API, or even introduce security issues? The answer reveals one of the biggest misconceptions about modern AI. Human developers solve problems by understanding them. They think about requirements, performance, edge cases, security, and long-term maintenance. AI approaches the same problem differently. It doesn't truly understand your application the way you do. Instead, it predicts which continuation is most likely to fit the context it has been given. Most of the time, those predictions are remarkably helpful. But prediction is not the same as understanding. That's why experienced developers never rely on AI blindly. They review every suggestion, they test it, they improve it, and sometimes they reject it completely. AI can generate code incredibly fast, but only a developer can decide whether that code is correct, safe, maintainable, and truly solves the problem. Software development is changing. A decade ago, autocomplete finished a single word. Today, AI can help write an entire function. Tomorrow, these tools may help design larger parts of an application. But one thing is unlikely to change. Someone still needs to understand the problem, make good engineering decisions, and take responsibility for the final product. AI is becoming a powerful teammate, not a replacement for thoughtful software engineering. At the beginning of this video, it looked like AI was reading your mind. Now you know what actually happened. Every suggestion begins with a single keystroke. Your editor gathers context. GitHub Copilot prepares a request. Powerful AI models analyze that context, predict the most likely continuation, and return a suggestion to your screen. All of it in just a few hundred milliseconds. It's not mind reading. It's not magic. It's one of the most impressive engineering systems millions of developers use every single day. The most fascinating technology isn't always the part we can see. It's the invisible engineering working quietly behind the scenes. And that's exactly what we'll keep exploring here on Debug with Dorjee. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and tell me in the comments. Which technology should we debug next? Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.